We're making a healthy spring dessert. So I have 2 bananas in my blender. I'm actually gonna add 1/2 more just because those are small bananas. Now I'm going to crack 2 eggs. Let's see if I can do these one-handed. Ooh, yay, did it. Okay, so we have 2 bananas, 2 eggs. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of oats. So I already said we are making a healthy spring dessert. It's a twist on one of my favorites. So we have 2 cups of oats. Now I'm gonna add in 1/4 cup of melted coconut oil. I'm making this in the blender just because I think it makes things really easy, but you don't have to make it in the blender. I'm also gonna add 1/2 cup of organic cane sugar and a splash of vanilla extract. I bought this big bottle at Costco the other week, and I'm so glad I bought it because it was expensive, but I feel like the small bottles are really expensive as well, so I feel like it's worth it. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. That was about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, by the way. And then a pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda into the blender. And now I have some spices here. So this is 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, all into the blender. Has anyone guessed what we are making yet? So I'm gonna grab my blender here. Okay, we have our blender here. And I'm just gonna stick that on top. Let me grab the top to the blender, almost forgot. So I'm just gonna place the top right on and start it. All right, as you can see, the mixture is nice and smooth. So next, let me set my blender aside for a second here. Next in the blender, I'm going to add 1 cup of shredded carrots. This was about 1 large carrot shredded. So 1 cup into there. I'm also gonna add 1 box of raisins. So I know that raisins can be a controversial ingredient in carrot cake. If you haven't guessed it by now, we are making a carrot cake banana bread. It's one of my favorites. I love banana bread and I love carrot cake, so combining the two is just the perfect, most delicious, healthy treat, especially for spring in my opinion. It's great all year round, but I love it especially in the spring. So let me know in the comments, do you like raisins in your carrot cake? I personally would say yes, but let me know in the comments if you like raisins in your carrot cake. So now I'm just gonna add 1/4 cup of sliced, this is a combination of pecans and walnuts, but you could do pecans or walnuts, you could do a mix like I did. Whatever you feel like doing is great. And now I am just going to grab my little spatula here and I'm just gonna mix these in. We are not gonna blend anymore. We're just gonna stir this right in. So I am stirring this in. We're feeling like spring, even though it is snowing in Michigan right now. I feel like we always get a few snows in the springtime. I was in my bathing suit getting some sun a couple weeks ago and now it is snowing. So if that doesn't scream Michigan, I don't know what does. So just make sure and get that nice and combined. There, that looks good. I'm just gonna go ahead and set that aside there and grab a loaf pan. I have it lined with some parchment paper and then I always like to use the clothespins to keep the parchment paper in place. And now I'm just going to transfer our batter. Doesn't that look so good? I'm so excited. My first carrot cake inspired recipe of the season. So I'm just gonna pour the batter into this loaf pan. So I originally made this recipe a few years ago and I made them into muffins, but I have not tried them as a loaf yet. So I'm super excited. So anyways, you can make this recipe into muffins if you prefer muffins over a loaf, but I just kind of wanted to switch it up and make it into a banana bread. So I'm just gonna gently smooth out the top here so that it's nice and even throughout the pan. And I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm also gonna remove these before we place it in the oven. So I have my oven preheated to 350. I'm not exactly sure how long they're gonna go in because like I said, I've only made this recipe as muffins before. So I'm gonna keep a good eye on it and I'll let you guys know how long after it comes out of the oven. But I am excited. All right, into the oven it goes. Okay, it has been 40 minutes. So we are going to grab our carrot cake banana bread out of the oven. Look at how beautifully that fluffed up and look at that texture. It looks so good. So we are gonna let this cool and then we'll add the frosting on top. All right, so our carrot cake banana bread has pretty much fully cooled. So I am just going to set that aside and I am feeling lazy today. So I'm using a store-bought frosting. Normally I would like to do a cream cheese frosting, but I'm gonna jazz this up a little bit to make it more appropriate for the carrot cake. So I'm gonna add a little bit of maple syrup in with the frosting and then also some cinnamon. I think this will just give it really great flavor with the carrot cake. And then this frosting's a little bit stiff, so I'm gonna stick this in the microwave for like 10-15 seconds, not long at all. And then I'll give it a stir and we'll frost our carrot cake banana bread. All right, so this has melted a little bit. You guys, this smells so good. And I'm just gonna stir it to completely combine it with that maple and cinnamon to give us a really delicious frosting for our carrot cake. I cannot get over how good this smells. Let's add this maple cinnamon frosting right on top of our carrot cake banana bread and give it a nice good spread here so that it covers the entire loaf. I can't get over how good this smells. It smells like, I don't even know how to describe it. Cinnamon pancakes with that maple in the icing. I think it's gonna be perfect for our carrot cake. But like I said, I do like to add cream cheese frosting when I have a little bit more time. But I had this frosting on hand and I figured I might as well just use it. All right, let's go ahead and lift this out of the tray. Look at how good that looks. So for our finishing touch, I'm just gonna add a little bit of extra cinnamon on top. And now let's slice in. All right, so let's slice into it. Moment of truth. Ah, look at how good that looks. Let me actually slice one more piece. You guys, it turned out perfect. I was a little bit worried because, like I said, I haven't made this as a bread before. I've only made it as muffins. But look at that texture with those carrots. You would never guess that this is healthier. So I'm just gonna transfer this piece onto a plate so I can try it out. Wow, I can't get over how good this looks and smells. It's perfectly moist. All right, I've been waiting for this all day. I genuinely do not have the words to tell you how good this is. It's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, perfectly moist and perfect amount of spice and sweetness. This is absolutely delicious. You guys have to try this. Let me know in the comments what you think and if you would try this recipe.